The Search for Eden, exploring the theories of the garden's location. Few places in all of sacred history have stirred the imagination, the heart, and the spirit quite like the Garden of Eden. It was the first home of humankind, a paradise of peace, purity, and perfect fellowship between God and His creation. In that garden, the air itself was holy. Rivers shimmered with life. The soil bore fruit without toil, and every creature lived in harmony under the watchful care of its maker. Yet when Adam and Eve were sent forth, east of Eden, a veil fell over its gates, guarded by a flaming sword, and from that day forward, the question has remained: where was Eden? Was it lost forever in myth and memory? Or does its soil still lie somewhere on earth, hidden beneath time, water, or sand? Today we explore the leading theories and evidence, both biblical and historical, that seek to trace the footsteps of humanity's first home. The Mesopotamian theory, between the Tigris and the Euphrates. Our first and most enduring theory takes us to the cradle of civilization. Mesopotamia, literally, the land between the rivers. In Genesis 2:10-14, the scripture describes Eden's geography with striking precision. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there it was divided and became four rivers: the Pishon, the Gihon, the Tigris, and the Euphrates. Of these four, two still flow today: the Tigris and the Euphrates, coursing through modern Iraq, Kuwait, and parts of Syria and Turkey. This region is also where ancient Sumer, Akkad, and Babylonian rose, the earliest centers of recorded human life. Supporters of this theory argue that Eden lay near the headwaters of those rivers, possibly in southern Mesopotamia, close to the Persian Gulf. It was here that the soil was black and fertile, watered by an intricate system of canals and seasonal floods. Early Mesopotamia myths, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, also speak of a paradise-like land called Dilmun, often associated with purity, immortality, and divine presence, themes echoing the Genesis account. Some archaeologists suggest that Dilmun, thought to be near ancient Bahrain or Kuwait, could represent a cultural memory of Eden itself. The greatest challenge to this theory lies in identifying the Pishon and Gihon. Some researchers link the Pishon to the now dry Wadi Batim, a river system that once flowed from western Arabia into the Persian Gulf. Others propose that the Gihon may have corresponded to a now vanished channel connecting Mesopotamia with regions to the southwest, possibly extending toward ancient Kush. If this view is correct, the Garden of Eden may once have occupied a lush delta plain, a crossroads where life began and where the rivers of scripture and civilization both took root. The Armenian Highlands theory, the mountains of the east. The second theory carries us north to the Armenian Highlands, to the towering region that forms the headwaters of the Tigris and Euphrates. This area, rich in volcanic soil, glacial springs, and temperate climate, sits at the juncture of modern Turkey, Armenia, and Iran. In the biblical text, Eden's river flows out of the garden and then divides, suggesting that Eden itself was situated on higher ground, perhaps a plateau or mountain from which water flowed in every direction. The Armenian Highlands fit this description perfectly. Ancient Jewish and Christian traditions also point to this area. The Book of Jubilees, a Jewish text from the Second Temple period, places the garden in the east, near the mountains. Early church fathers such as Ephraim the Syrian described Eden as lying on the summit of a mountain higher than all others. This mountain connection also intertwines with the story of Noah's Ark, which came to rest on Mount Ararat, perhaps symbolically linking the renewal of life after the flood with the cradle of life before it. From a theological perspective, this theory carries deep poetic weight. That is, the beginning and rebirth of humanity both occurred upon the same sacred heights, the mountains where heaven and earth nearly meet. The African theory, the land of Cush and the source of the Nile. Another fascinating theory carries us southward to Africa, the land associated with Cush, mentioned in Genesis as a region encircled by the Gihon River. Throughout Scripture, Cush typically refers to territories along the Upper Nile, encompassing parts of modern Ethiopia, Sudan, and Eritrea. In this view, the Gihon corresponds to the Nile River, whose steady, life-giving waters made Egypt and Nubia flourish. The headwaters of the Nile, in the Ethiopian Highlands, are known for their lush vegetation, waterfalls, and year-round fertility, imagery not unlike that of the garden. Supporters of this theory suggest that the Tigris and Euphrates could have been distant branches of a vast pre-flood river system, perhaps connected through an ancient continental pattern lost to geological upheaval. There is also a compelling genetic and anthropological argument. Africa is recognized by scientists as the cradle of humanity, where the earliest Homo sapien fossils have been discovered. For those who see scripture and science in dialogue rather than conflict, this could lend a deeper resonance to the idea of Eden's African roots, a reminder that both faith and reason point toward Africa as a place of beginning. If true, Eden may have once graced the highlands where the Blue Nile springs forth, a paradise now veiled in time, but remembered in every river that still sustains life. The Persian Gulf theory, Eden beneath the waters. The fourth theory takes us not to land, but beneath the sea. In recent decades, geological and satellite studies have revealed that the Persian Gulf, now a shallow body of water, was once a vast, fertile valley before sea levels rose around it 10,000 years ago following the Ice Age. This submerged landscape, fed by ancient river systems, including the Tigris, Euphrates, Karen, and possibly the Pishon, was fertile, temperate, and rich with freshwater springs. Archaeological evidence of early human settlements has been found along its former edges, suggesting a thriving population before the waters rose. This has led some researchers to propose that the Garden of Eden may now lie beneath the Gulf, preserved beneath layers of sediment and saltwater, a literal paradise lost. The Persian Gulf hypothesis elegantly harmonizes the geographic clues of Genesis with modern science. The convergence of four great rivers, a lush ecosystem, and a catastrophic flood-like event that erased it from human memory. If Eden indeed lies here, its story becomes not one of just spiritual loss, but of creation, flood, and renewal, a divine pattern etched in both scripture and earth itself. The symbolic or theological theory, a garden beyond geography. And then there is a final profound view, that Eden was never meant to be found by map or spade, but is instead a spiritual reality. According to this interpretation, the Garden of Eden is a divine symbol, the meeting point between heaven and earth, creator and creation. It was the first sanctuary, a cosmic temple where humanity walked with God in perfect harmony. When Adam and Eve sinned, they were not merely exiled from a location. They were severed from fellowship with God. The flaming sword and cherubim that barred the way were not guarding a patch of land, but the very presence of the Holy One. This view is supported by prophetic and apocalyptic imagery throughout Scripture. In Ezekiel 28, Eden is described as the holy mountain of God. And in Revelation 22, the river of life and the tree of life reappear, not in the past, but in the restored paradise of the New Jerusalem. Thus, Eden becomes not a place to rediscover, but a promise to be fulfilled. The Messiah, through redemption, opens the way back to the presence once lost, turning the search for Eden from an archaeological quest into a spiritual journey. The eternal echo of Eden. So where is the Garden of Eden? Was it in the fertile plains of Mesopotamia, in the high mountains of Armenia, along the sacred rivers of Africa, or beneath the hidden waters of the Persian Gulf? Or perhaps in a sense beyond all these? Does Eden dwell not in geography but in glory, the eternal communion of Creator and creation? Each theory offers a glimpse, a reflection in a darkened mirror, of a greater truth. For Eden was not only a place, but a presence. It was where heaven and earth embraced, where humanity lived unashamed in the light of God. And though the gates of that ancient garden are veiled, the longing for Eden still stirs in every human heart. The desire to return home, to walk again in peace with the one who made us. Perhaps then, the truest search for Eden is not a journey across the deserts or oceans, but a pilgrimage of the soul, back toward the garden within, and forward toward the paradise restored. I hope you enjoyed this, and it's something to think about. God bless you. Have a good day.